Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you so much for doing this.
Not at all, my pleasure.
So to start off with, 3 very quick questions, scaled 0 to 10. So we'll start off with those and then have a wider conversation.
Fantastic.
Fantastic. So number 1, do you think the UK government should reduce the overseas aid budget, or do you think the UK government should increase the overseas aid budget? On a scale of 0 to 10, 0 being reduced, 10 being increased.
0.
0.
Yes.
Thank you. Question 2. Britain should be taking fewer asylum seekers, even if they're fleeing war, conflict and persecution, or should be taking more? Again, 0 being fewer, 10 being more.
0.
0.
Oh, let's make it as 1, sorry.
1.
There are genuine asylum seekers.
Okay. And then do you think loss of nature and destruction of the environment should be one of the most important concerns facing the country? 0 being not important, 10 being very
10.
important.
Very
10.
important.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. So,
always my pleasure.
returning to your second question about the asylum seekers, you said just then there are legitimate asylum seekers. What's your view on that? What qualifies as a legitimate asylum seeker in your view?
Well, people who are genuinely persecuted in their country, and people who are leaving the country out of fear of persecution, that should be determined by the expertise in order to establish whether they deem to be fit to be in this country. And the fundamental issue here is we don't have those expertise here. As far as as far as my perspective is concerned, they don't have the expertise. Any Tom, Dick, and Harry could just come in and apply for us, and they are given the amount of time, the amount of resources that causes the government. That reflects on the taxpayers' money at the end of the day. It is not the government. The government is just sitting there and doing according to their whims and fancies. As far as I'm concerned, it is the taxpayers' money. Each and every one of us will have to have a say in this. And I'm not against asylum system, but I think it's time that we have to leave the UNCHR.
Okay.
It's time that UNCHR should be taught and educated. Why can't they go to other countries rather than coming to UK? Because we have a soft touch.
Can I ask, what does that expertise look like for you then, if it was to function properly?
Well, people must have a genuine, plausible explanation. A plausible explanation, and there must also be some torture marks on them, and then you get the doctors to verify it, because the doctors are the best people in the field to determine whether there has been a force or trauma that had been advocated on that person, not you or me. What have they been doing all throughout? You get taxed for driving a vehicle. You get taxed. You got to go for MOT. The for parking, the council makes the money out of you. Okay? The HMRC makes money out of you. In every aspect, the government is making money. But where is it giving it to? To the side. People who are born and bred in this country. There has been an instance where I told you that when I came out of the pub with my friends. And these poor English people was cowering in a bin from the Marks and Spencer. I only had 20 quid cash. I wish I had more. I would have given to them and told them, go and get some decent food. We are living in an affluent society. We call ourselves, we are cultured. But look at the state of our people. Look at our fellow human beings. You are not doing enough. The reason why I'm addressing this issue now is, if you had cleaned your backyard, then you go and do someone's backyard, I'm not going to say anything. We have so many issues that need to be resolved in our country.
Going back to your quite sort of point about the UK being an affluent country and having resources, to deal with homelessness and things like that, do you see that sort of trade-off, if you like, between resources coming between asylum and taking care of homelessness and these other issues, or do you think there are other issues which drain resources, or there are resources that aren't being properly mobilised? For example, I think last time you mentioned things like corporation tax. What's your view on that, and do you think?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, the poor is becoming poorer, and the rich is becoming richer. Why can't they go after Amazon? Why can't they go after Google? Why can't they go after YouTube? Why can't they go after TikTok, Instagram? You go Coca-Cola Company, McDonald's, KFC. What is the corporate tax thing? In fact, they are afraid that if they impose more tax, that they will wrap up and leave. If they have to leave, let them leave. We have been surviving with our own bits and with our own bits. Why afraid of big corporate companies? All these hardships. They are only taxing the working class people, not the rich. The rich always gets away with it.
And then extending that concern about inequality globally, how do you see the sort of gap between the very richest and then the poor globally? Do you think we should be doing more to address that as well as inequality within the United Kingdom?
We have to. That is one of the fundamental principles that they have to emphasize, and they have to work on it. Because the situation is deteriorating. Just like NHS, for instance. I'll give you a clear analogy. Where did NHS was founded in 1948? Okay. I don't know whether you're aware of it or not. It was actually established from 1948. They never had any crisis with NHS. And then all out of the blues, they say that the government says we got £2 billion, a black hole that need to be plugged. Where did it come from? Because you allowed people from foreign countries to come in, receive free treatments. I'll never say that it is from the British people. It is the foreigners. As far as I know, because my own sister is a doctor.
Does she mention these sort of issues?
Yes, she had actually mentioned. She says people who come from countries like South Africa, from Middle East, she was a gynaecologist, so she told me, she says...
How do you feel about aid if it's invested in other countries to give people, so people can access healthcare there, so maybe they don't come over here and access the NHS, for example? How do you feel about that?
As far as I'm concerned, that every country, they have their own resources.
Okay.
Why would we have to, foot their bills, by telling most of the governments are corrupted. Just like I'm an Indian, and I know the amount of funds that has been transferred to India